Hey guys, I'm Lauren. I'm going to do your top tip for today, and I'm going to do it on sauces, the differences between store-bought and homemade, and why it's always better to opt for the homemade option rather than the store-bought. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through a pesto recipe of mine, and then I'm going to take you through the ingredients that I use for a standard pasta sauce and for a curry rather than buying a store-bought. All I will say as well while I'm making this video is obviously for those of you who don't like to eat vegetables, when you make the homemade sauces is a good time to try and get them all in. You know, you can cut them up really small, you can even blend them. It's just a good way of making sure that you are getting your fibre, you are getting your nutrients from your fibre day, rather than you sitting there and pushing veg around your plate for hours. So I hope this helps, guys. I'm going to show you all the ingredients that I've got and the measurements that you need to use. A cup of spinach. You can swap that out for any green if you want, so a kale, anything like that. Half a cup of pumpkin seeds, and this should be 1 cup of basil, but I use pre-chopped, so I only use half a cup at a time. Then you need your half a lime, you need half a teaspoon of garlic granules and 1 tablespoon of your nutritional yeast. So literally all I'm going to do now is chuck it in the blender, and here it is. You can literally use this for anything. We put it on pasta, you could put it on your chicken, we even put it on our takeaway pizzas. Just to give it like a little bit more something. So if you were to go out and buy a jar of pesto in your normal supermarket, you're talking 154 calories or thereabouts for 2 tablespoons. So there's 14 grams of fat in it, there's 4.7 grams of carbs and 2 grams of protein. Now a food like that, it would take 43 minutes of walking to burn that off, which is just crazy. Whereas this homemade recipe, in every 2 tablespoons there's only 35 calories. So there's 3.2 grams of fat, 1.8 grams of protein and 1.4 grams of carbs. So we're talking less than 15 minutes to burn that. So these are the ingredients I would typically use for a homemade tomato sauce, be it for bolognese, meatballs, anything. You can obviously just change up the herbs and spices that you put in it depending on what it is that you're eating. I would normally only use half a tin of tomatoes, even better if you can use fresh. Just a lot of the time I'm working late, so it's more convenient for me to use tinned. Chuck all that in the blender, dead quick, dead simple. But the difference is this homemade sauce has 99 calories in. It's got 20 grams of carbs and only 10 grams of sugar, whereas a normal jar of Dolmio has 223 calories, 44 grams of carbs, and most of that is sugar. Actually more than half of that is sugar. So that would in essence take 62 minutes of walking to burn that off, which is just crazy. So it's dead quick, it's dead easy. You can mix it up as much as you want for whatever you're eating. I do also add liquid smoke to this sometimes. If we're doing takeaway pizzas, I will put a little bit of it in and it turns it to a more barbecue sauce. We absolutely love that in this house, so it's definitely worth giving a go. So these are the ingredients we would normally use to make a curry. Obviously you can use garam masala instead of the medium curry powder, but again, it's convenience for me. This coconut milk is a far better option than using a can of coconut milk. It is thinner with the consistency, so obviously just bear that in mind with how much you're using. But what we normally do is 250 ml of the coconut milk, a tablespoon of the curry powder. Tomato puree is totally up to you how much you use depending on how you want your curry to be, and garlic. So then obviously what you can do is stick in any herbs and spices that you would prefer. A curry sauce, a store-bought one, you're looking 440 calories per jar. Obviously I know you'd normally use a jar for like 4 people, so I've made the homemade one the same. But there's 23 grams of fat, there's 48 grams of carbs, of which 32 of it is sugar, which is just crazy. There's 5.2 grams of protein, whereas in the homemade curry sauce, using the ingredients I showed you, obviously excusing any extra herbs and stuff that you'd add, there's 115 calories, 5 grams of fat, 13 grams of carbs, of which only 6 is sugar, and 4 grams of protein, so it's obviously just a much better option. There is plenty of recipes in the Herbalife cookbook as well if you want to use them alongside your products. So if you don't have that, don't worry, you can speak to your coach and we can get that ordered, but it is just a great way of fortifying some of your meals and making you think a little bit smarter with the things that you're eating. So I hope that helps, guys, and have a lovely day.